Alright, blue side has been 100% win ratio in this series. It matters a great deal, right? But the big difference here is that Peanut is playing on the red side, because I think the biggest weakness of SK Telecom on red side has been the fact that they have been constantly playing the freaking Zac. Faker doing some meditation. It's a good time to do so, because this is crazy. You know, he's gonna probably play another game with Galio. Rakan now banned on blue side instead of Zaya. Jana is the red side ban. Let's see now if Tristana is out or Tristana is in. Tristana was a ban that SK Telecom did on blue side. Royal Never Give Up haven't been too unhappy playing into it. I think SK Telecom recognized the success they had with the Lulu Kog'Maw, and I would love to see it together with that Galio again. And if anything, you know, they will first rotate the Galio and just continue the same. Kog'Maw seems to be ice cold. RNG are going for the Gragas ban. It wasn't something that was tailored specifically against Blank. This was something that was tailored specifically against SK Telecom. Usually SK Telecom have banned Jarvan right here, and I don't think it's necessary. But the main question is, if they don't ban Jarvan, will RNG not first pick Sejuani anymore? And I think if they ban Sejuani and trade Jarvan Galio, that's also a way to do it. They're just smiling away. He's pointing at him and saying, dude, you're going to play 5 games with Galio. And RNG first picking Tristana, I don't know how good it is, because they're going to give away Jarvan Galio. And Uzi is also smiling. In game 5, Uzi has, you know, RNG game 5, you know, it's been infamous in a lot of ways that RNG can't find victories in the clutch series. But Galio Jarvan, you know, sure, Tristana matches up well against that, but SKT are going to be able to pick up that Kog'Maw and be very happy with this. Very, very happy. The main question is, what will RNG put in mid lane? We saw some Malzahar, we saw some Ryze. Most likely we'll see the Ryze. The jungle pick is going to be interesting too. And Shen. Ooh, alright. Like, Shen has been fantastic against the Galio. Let's be honest. Like, the game we saw Shen against Galio, it was working out very well. Corki gets locked in. Corki has been banned plenty of times from SKT in the second phase when they have Galio, and they just ban the Corki away. Let's see now if SKT are just going to pick Lulu here. Yeah, Lulu. As I said it just popped up on my screen. Lulu. Let's see what options they have with Lulu. They got Twitch, they got Karma, they got Varus. I think there's plenty of it. I think I like the casual Mata that just appears all the time. That's what I hear in my head. Alright, so let's see the bans. No more Corki. Might see some support bans here. Might be a Taric. Taric was something that worked out. Leona from SKT. Maybe a Blitzcrank as well. You know, there's a lot of supports that do well into Lulu, let's be honest. But I don't think Ming is the one to play them. I think Ming is gonna settle for that Taric, especially against this comp, right? This is a very predictable one, and let's see now if RNG are happy with putting the enemy team on Varus, or if they just let them Twitch. I think giving away Varus is the way to go, even though they lost the game against Varus. The only game I didn't watch. Nocturne. Alright. MLG is laughing. He's laughing his ass off. But what are these SK Telecom bans? SKT now gonna play Varus unless they bust out like some random ass shit like Jinx. I think they're gonna drop the Varus. Nocturne and freaking Leona ban. RNG are most likely just gonna go for Taric, right? Taric is gonna be the one. Gnar into Shen. Gnar worked out beautifully the last game. I think Huni is confident in the matchup. I think Huni has showed that he's the better laner in this one. But Lemmy has been a good Shen, and he dealt with the gangplank very fine. Well, let's be honest, MXG dealt with the gangplank very fine. And he also did very well with the Maokai into the Camille. Taric is the pickup. I think Leona Nocturne bans are just so freaking strange. Like, MLG is just gonna go for, what was he gonna go for? Rexa here, or? Rek'Sai seems to be like the choice to go for. Oh! Alright, look at him smile, man. He's like, let me kick. Let me kick. Alright, Caitlyn. Caitlyn is a champion that I completely forgot about. Completely forgot about. And I'm a fan of it here. I'm a fucking fan of it here for sure. Because, you know, I think Galio is great into Corki because Corki has nothing to say. You know, it's not like Ryze. Right? It's not like Ryze in the early lane matchup. Ryze actually has a chance to push in Galio and do good things to Galio. Corki has no chance. Like, he's going to get pushed in, and then when he has Shen ultimate, he's going to be able to maybe get pressure through mids. And it feels, you know, looking at draft, it just feels like SKT are going to come out with a victory. But, you know, SKT have slipped up a lot in the early game. And I think why I'm saying why I feel like their draft is better, because I think Galio is going to have free reign over mid lane. Caitlyn Lure is going to push in bottom. I think Caitlyn Lure is going to get first tower bottom. And then eventually they're going to transition that into top and then take Rift Herald and just continue the snowball just like always. And RNG have shown that they are better at fighting. And this game 5 is super interesting. It's crazy. The last handshake. One of these coaches is going home. Well, one of these coaches literally lives there, I think. So it's no problem. But crazy. SKT come game 5. Crazy stuff. You know, RNG with their draft, you know, sure, they scale very well into the game. Tarek has an easy time putting Art of Sense to a lot of people. A lot of this relies on what MXG can actually do. I think post level 6 RNG actually have like this good chance to get priority through mid lane if they use Shen ultimate for that and pressure with Shen ultimate for that. I think it can be very positive. And they still have a lot of windows for themselves to pressure into this. But the main thing is how much pressure can they alleviate from this bot lane? Because, you know, Tristana and Tarek, they scale very well, but they don't lane very well against this matchup. But Uzi is a fantastic laner, and I don't think there's an advantage to how Uzi has been playing this tournament in comparison to Bang. But on paper, you know, they should get pushed in permanently, and it's about RNG getting priority through mid lane and then alleviating pressure from bottom. And then eventually, when they've alleviated pressure from bottom, eventually like start pressuring bottom tower. Well, that's going to be very difficult, you know. The main thing here is the RNG are going to be on the defensive, and they just want to maintain the lane phase for a long time. They want to maintain the status quo. They want to maintain a situation where RNG are just laning for as long as possible, reach 24s on Corki, and then, you know, just head into a game where they scale very heavily into it. So right now, you know, SKT with the invade here on Raptors, very good to do with Galio. It's I call it the Nuke Duck, but I've seen it so many people do it. I remember when Nuke Duck said it to me. He's like, "Yeah, we can do this, man. We can do this. It's a genius idea." But come on, Nuke Duck. A lot of people have been doing this for a long time. Corki in the mid lane should get pushed in. I'm personally not a fan of Corki and Galio. I understand that, you know, you're not going to be under a lot of pressure. You can go Warlord. You can use package and TP to come after your enemy team. Javan coming in now on bottom. Level 2 gank. Twisting it up. Flash into EQ. Should be death. Thunderlord is proccing. SK Telecom starting off with a bang. Alright. SKT. They just go in with the idea of throwing as many curveballs at the enemy team as possible. They know that in RNG's mind, you know, these headlines are going over and over in their mind. They're thinking about Waibu and whatever, however you pronounce this, and they're thinking, man, if we beat SK Telecom, it's going to be massive. And RNG as a team, you know, they've had a history of not doing well in the games that matter the most. SK Telecom getting pushed in bottom, but I don't know if it was like a baited thing, because Peanut came in there and took the kill. Let's see how much it matters right now, because the summoner usage is very similar. Uzi with his flash left. There's a barrier on Caitlyn. And crazy stuff already from Peanut. And there's no punishment either from MLXG, because what happened was Peanut took a red buff and then just went to bottom side, and then there's nothing to take top side, and Peanut's already in position to defend the bottom side jungle. MLXG is going for kind of this full clear, blue buff into bot side and to top side again, and he's gonna end up being on top side. He gets spotted by Huni, which he has managed to get priority on top side, and it should be hard for MLXG to gank the Gnar. There's no plants either. Huni killed it on the way out. He killed all the plants, and PETA's gonna come after him. I don't know if PETA cares about plants. I guess they care about the environment, right? PETA is a shit organization. I saw some pictures of the fact that they actually kill more animals than they save. You know, there was some statistics that were proving it, and some research that was proving it, but I read about it, you know. Don't quote me on this. I'm not gonna say that I'm a PETA scientist, and I just read something on the internet. Okay. Galio moving into bottom. I think this is where it's going to be kind of dangerous here. Like Faker TP back into mid lane. Xiaohu is going to want to do something similar, but I don't think Faker's gonna allow him with his Doran's ring and his Dark Seals. He's gonna keep pushing this lane in and sneeze his Hurricanes onto the range creeps and keep the enemy pushed in. I think Javan is stronger than Lee Sin is at this point in time. And what SK Telecom want to look for is just perma push in mid and then play into bottom. And MLXG, I don't know how much you can create with this Lee. I don't know what you want to look to kick, because everything on the enemy team seems really hard to kick. So I don't know if this is like, oh, MLXG, you're gonna play Lee Sin, you're gonna carry us, bro. I don't know, man. Feels very unlikely. Feels like it's tough to imagine. Punching away, proccing that Thunderlord. Huni going for that all-in. Not all-in, just a short trade, and forcing Shen to walk away, and Huni doesn't want to tank the creeps for too long. He just walks away after that one. And Faker's roam into bottom is not committed to 100%. And Faker, while he's looking for the cancel of recall here for Galio, I don't know if this was a good play or a good time to go for this one. But RNG, MLG is in position, and the moment Galio is walking down here and Jarvan is forced out, I don't know if they could have forced harder here on bottom. Not too sure, not too sure. But Galio gives Xiaohu space here to base, looking to cancel the recall while the cannon minion is in position there, and it gives Corki space to breathe. He can also save his TP, it seems. Yeah, no problem. He just saves his TP and all is good. Xiao should be very, very happy with this. You know, he was in a position where the classic Galio position where he pushes you in, he bases TPs, has the Doran's ring over you and can maintain that pressure. Galio roamed in the bottom, didn't get anything out of it, and Xiaohu managed to get a base, a very clean base, and he gets to keep his TP, and might see some TP package shenanigans go down. Okay, now the bottom lane is shaping up for what it's supposed to be. SKT having pressure. RNG are fighting back though. They are not the easiest bot lane to just get pressure against, because the matchup says so. You need to still play it really fucking well. And RNG are going to look for those windows to create pressure. Package is ready now in base for Xiaohu. And MLG is approaching level 6. Shen Ultimate is also ready to go. Huni has kept his TP throughout the entire ordeal though, so he's ready to participate if that is the case, where Shen just ults in. And from the previous games, you know, Huni managed to get priority very early on against Rumble. I think if he manages to do it against Rombo, he should be able to manage to do it against Shen as well. Sure, it's different matchups, but I think it comes down to like Huni's skill over Lemmi's skill. MLG with the lane gank. I like what I'm seeing here. He did avoid all the vision from RNG. I mean, he did avoid all the vision. Holy moly. They're just disengaging, and Huni just manhandles them both, and the dive is going to come in here. SKT is walking towards topside with Galio, and they're forcing RNG off the turret. They're losing a lot of health there, and the flash in. Holy moly. SKT, relentless. Huni is playing this wonderfully, and you know, it was sneaky what MLXG did, right? He just went through, like found a way past all the vision, and he's trying to walk through lane, and then he sees the plant, punches it, and goes over the wall. But then like Lemmy gets heavily traded on, and Mega Nar is coming in, and they just give up on the approach here. And if they went earlier, you know, then they would have been screwed. Because they need to be able to one-shot Huni for this to work, and then you have to argue to yourself, like, is this the play to go for? And then, like, Huni winning top is such a big deal because Lulu and Caitlyn are in fact stuck. Like, they're making sure the enemy bot lane is stuck on the turret. Well, that's how it should look like, at least. TB back into mid lane. Javo wants to base now to get his package. TB back up top to defend it. But right now, like, Galio can roam into bottom, and it could cause a lot of problems. Jarvan could do the same. He could just rotate into mid lane right now, and they could walk into bottom and cause problems. But it seems like they're just going to stay top, because they know for a fact that RNG can't stay top forever either. So Fake is punching mid tower. He knows that he can force a reaction from RNG. And Corki now in base, getting the package, is going to walk towards top side. Alright, let's see if RNG, like, Lemmy is going to taunt, or what is he going to do here? Gonna play safe, and Corki faked the walk into top, and Fake got a lot of mid tower damage too. And RNG, I feel like the lack of space to make like plays happen on is a big issue. Shen being pushed in, bottom being pushed in. I don't know if mid lane would be the place you have to target, if anything. But I just feel like Corki is too weak against Galio early on. I think that's a big issue. And Shen ultimate not being used at all yet, and SK Telecom are the ones forcing. Having top side, I think that's way safer to do than bot side. Because, you know, as long as the enemy team can't create anything bottom, and you are stronger on top side, then Shen is not going to be useful. Like, RNG shouldn't be able to get pressure bottom. Like MLG, like, he can hope and pray that he can create something bottom. Like Galio is in a timing right now where he doesn't have any ultimates, and if RNG just brute force bottom now, and Huni is showing up top, and they just go for the Shen ultimate and just go with the wave and dive, then this would be the opportunity to do so. I think they're fake recalling. Caitlyn gets rooted by Caitlyn here, and I don't know, they kind of just have to go if they want to go for it. But now the moment is dead, and Galio did roam towards bottom side. Corki is top. I don't know if that's the right decision to have Corki top. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Holy. Okay. And after that happened, SKT are respecting the play into bottom. Okay. So let's assess the situation. Corki is going top to catch the wave, and Shen is in mid lane. Shen is in mid. He wants to ult into bottom for Lee Sin now, and Galio is matching. There's also the potential of Huni TP, which you have to consider, right? If you go for a dive right now, Huni can TP in and there's no pressure on him. So right now they're relying on Galio moving and also the TP of Huni. Right now Huni is showing, and Huni gets chunked out, which changes the situation bottom. Galio is still in mid lane, Shen can move into bottom, and Lee Sin is behind them. Huni is also out of the picture, he's pretty much dead here in theory. Like, Huni is not alive, he needs to base, so he has like a... Let's pretend he has a death time of 10 seconds right now. And then... Okay. RNG eventually get bottom tower, they force enemy bot lane off. And getting bot tower first against Caitlyn Lulu is quite decent. It's quite decent. I don't think it's better all the situation RNG are in. Rift Herald is taken by SKT Telecom though, and that is kind of the trade-off that they got. They got the first tower, they got the Rift Herald as well, they got the money on Gnar, so he's gonna be a very big pain in the ass to deal with in the split push. RNG do have double TP, so they could send Corki against Gnar, and I think at this point in time Corki should win the matchup as long as he avoids the Mega and doesn't all-in against Mega. I think he can do very good in the 1v1. But where do we send Shen then? Like, do we go Tristana and Taric into mid lane and then Shen into bottom to match the Galio? I think that's a possibility for sure. I think Galio should destroy Shen. And I think regardless where Shen goes right now, he's not going to have priority. As usually the case for Shen, unless he's super fed, right? So Shen is going to lose priority, and we'll just have to see what RNG's bot lane can do against the enemy bot lane. Because as it stands right now, I think Wolf and Bang should be able to get priority there. Lulu's also roaming into bottom. Caitlyn Lulu had the priority, and the red buff is ticking. Knockup goes, and the Shen is not that donkey. He is invested in Tiamat, and maybe that's the wrong decision. Maybe he should be buying Sunfire Cape and buying more tankier stats and TP into mid lane, into rotate into top side. There's still a Galio ultimate, and Huni gets knocked into the wall by MXG, and he doesn't get Mega off. It's very close though. It's very close that Mega comes off, and I think that's the deal breaker here. And Rift Herald gets used bottom after Shen dies. Now the main thing here is Lee is playing into top. But is there a problem here that Corki is not walking up on top wave? Like, he's just, if he's walking with the top wave and Lee Sin is right behind him, I feel like the situation is better. You just walk up top side and get priority to top side. Tristana and Taric. Because right now, like, Gnar gets to clear a wave while Lee Sin and Corki are investing time there. So in a case where he doesn't get to clear this wave, they could have dove in at the same time as Shen. But the main issue here is that SK Telecom at the same time have mid priority, right? So it changes everything in terms of vision and in terms of how willing you are to face check. It's like, it's very different that you can just face check and look at it differently, and having mid priority helps you a lot in setting this play up, right? And RNG would have to commit to the play up top with very little information. Maybe there would be a caught or something, but Faker was showing bottom, Peanut was not showing. But in the case there would be a 2v2, I feel like RNG could potentially win there with summoners. And I think there's a problem that Corki is doing Gromp right now instead of pressuring top, because otherwise MSG is just wasting time. Because this is the same wave, like this is the same wave Galio makes a play on. He makes a play here on the bottom with the same wave that Gnar just cleared. So that puts RNG super far behind on tempo. And Let Me dies, of course. And I feel like Huni should have also died on this wave, or he should have been forced to back off. Because Shen, he shouldn't have been in bottom tower, of course. You know, you can make the decision that he shouldn't be in bottom tower. And he has very little vision to work with, right? But in the end, that's what it is. Galio ultimate. Like Faker wants to Galio ult top. You could argue that it's a bad play from him to not TP top instead of going for the mid lane. But of course he doesn't know where Lee Sin is. Like he doesn't know if Lee Sin is mid. He doesn't know if Lee Sin is top. So let's say in a case where Galio TP's top blindly, then all of a sudden Lee Sin dives mid and Caitlyn dies, and it could be a different scenario, right? It just becomes a whole different story. But in the end, you know, I think Caitlyn could have cleared the wave. There was only 2 range creeps left, and then, you know, Huni could have just chilled a bit, and then the TP could have come down top instead. And then there would be no wave in mid lane, and then after the wave of top is killed or whatever happens, then SKT can just rotate into mid lane again. Because Lulu was also moving in there, and Peanut was hitting bottom tower, Shen was dead. But SKT in a decent position now. Like RNG just needs to scale into this one. Need to wait for Corki to do work. But I like the fact that RNG are willing to put Corki against the Gnar, because that is the matchup that is working out for them. And I think it's very important to be flexible in your matchups. You know, when you play the game, you know, recognizing that, you know, sometimes you need to put the Fizz mid lane because you get priority against a Syndra like that, or things like this. You know, small tweaks, because sometimes it's very natural to say, yeah, Fizz is a split pusher, Corki is a wave clear, blah blah blah. He is a blah blah blah. You know, it's very important to be flexible. You know, sending Corki into Gnar, very good. Because there's no way Shen is going to deal with that Gnar at this point in time. And Corki, you know, he's 50 CS ahead of Gnar. He's been in mid lane, you know, he's been balling it, you know. He's been fantastic. See his differential, not in favor of Bang. Is it because Faker is taking so much creeps away from him? What a meanie, you know. That's what it's about. Right. Let's just do some stretching here. Ooh. I had a long night of playing Monopoly yesterday. And then I had a dream that yesterday was Thursday. It was strange. And then I woke up thinking that this is tomorrow. And then I was like, shit, man. It's today. Not good. Not in the right state of mind. Similar situation, SKT had priority from mid lane, walked bottom first, and they have the vision to support it, and RNG are just walking up top side, and Shen seems to be completely fine in the situation, 1-for-1 tower wise. SKT could rotate into mid lane and potentially set up a dive, but Shen could ult in and be happy with the fact that he's stuck bottom. RNG are continuing the push, God is going for the base. I think RNG can get some decent tower damage here, but Huni could jump in now with Galio ultimate. EQ comes in from Jarvan, shouldn't be a tower, and RNG are pinging the red buff, but I don't know if they can do this right now. Like Tarek and Tristana doing their own red buff, and I hope the same situation from last game doesn't happen. Or not last game, but game 3, where RNG get caught, and I think it was Let Me that died. Or maybe it was Xiaohu. I think it was Xiaohu who died on his Malzahar. Might have been the first game even. Next break is a mountain. SK Telecom are going to be in a better position to do this, because SKT did in fact base first. The items are a lot stronger on Tristana, and that is surprising when you compare Caitlyn and Tristana. That's the main thing, you know, people have been trying to pull off this Caitlyn against ADs that have been performing better, and I think whenever you do that, you put yourself in such a vulnerable position. because, you know, we saw it with C9. I think Sneaky was definitely worse than Mystic, and that's not like not a horrible thing. I think Sneaky is most likely the best AD carry from North America. But with that being said, you know, Mystic is the better AD, and right now Uzi is the better AD. And whenever we see like Caitlyn, Tristana matchups that aren't being pressured to that point, you know, that actually gives you a benefit, then there's an issue. And Uzi now, you know, of course, he has sees advantages for other reasons too, like they forced SKT off the bot lane tower, but I'm referring more of the fact that SKT didn't really create much pressure in the 2v2 either throughout the entire game. Even though they were the ones that got the gank onto Ming and the kill onto Ming, the first blood even. And I think that matters. Ninja Tabi finished as well. Kaelin, I think that's a pussy move. I think it's right here in mid lane they're maintaining the push. Uzi is going for some heavier trades and Bang loses not so much HP. SKT now. Holy. Let's take a step back. Mickey wrote to me telling me he's ready. So that means this game is over for him. I just hope he doesn't write me any spoilers, man. Alright, so Uzi goes for a bit of an aggressive trade. Cork is showing down bottom. Nara's not showing. Nara's rotating already. MXG is trying to find an angle, and Uzi jumps away. Almost jumps over the trap, and SKT with the priority from top side walk into mid lane, and of course the trade going in favor of Bang there, because the Ninja Tabi makes a difference. So Ninja Tabi is of course like a premium item, you know. I was calling him a pussy for buying it, but against Corki and Lee Sin and Shen even, you know, there's a lot of auto attack damage coming in, and it reduces a shit ton of HP, or reduces a shit ton of damage from the enemy team. So right here we saw the trade from Uzi. He went for the all-in. Not the best time to do it. Lulu was just shielding away and applying Ardent Sensor. And to be fair, you know, even if he didn't do this trade, I think SKT would have still gotten the mid tower here. So I don't think it's too big of a deal here for Uzi. He just tried something, hoped for some lucky crits. Didn't pan out, and he lost some HP. Alright. Whoa, what happened here? So Corki now pushed in bottom right while Nara was rotating into mid lane, and then Galio's catching here, and then SKT are doing... Ooh, alright. Let's see now if RNG can just pick up this mid tower, because then it's like a reverse into situation where SKT had priority, and then it got mirrored, because during this time where they rotated into mid, RNG were the ones pushing the side lanes, and then SKT have to catch, and then RNG rotated into mid lane. So, you know, RNG are keeping this game at an even footing, and as it stands right now, you know, they are very happy with the game being so close. I think they scale immensely well, and I'm just looking at the CS differential between AD and Tristana, and I think that's where the issue lies right now. I think the 3-item spike is just better. Of course, SKT have the Lulu Kate, right? They have the Lulu Kate. I think Lulu can boost one AD carry more than Tarek can, of course, and Tarek is more about applying Ardent Sensor to everyone. We just have to see which matters the most. You know, the main thing here as well is that the strength of SKT's comp is that they can engage with the Jarvan and the Galio and commit hard on the enemy team. You know, doing that against Corki, Tristana, and Tarek is not the easiest thing to do. You know, it's not like, yeah, let's just engage, guys, and just win the game. You know, it's very difficult to do. There's a knockback from Tristana, knockback from Lee as well in order to peel, right? And most of the damage on SKT, you know, we didn't talk about it, but it's only physical damage. You know, they have the Galio, but it's only physical damage. I didn't even realize it before. And the further and further we go into this game, the mixed damage from RNG is going to be just superior. And you know, I really didn't realize before that SKT just have this full AD comp with Galio. Sure, Galio has some, like Galio has magic damage, Gnar has some magic damage in the split push, right? And Jarvan Q reduces some armor, so it's not too terrible, right? And Black Cleaver from Gnar, but in the end, you know, still armor is a very effective stat here for RNG. I think the main thing though is that Tristana and Corki, like how much armor can they really buy? And it's very hard for them to squeeze in any armor into their build, because if they start itemizing armor, you know, all of a sudden that last whisper is going to get delayed way too much. It's going to be too big of a problem. Faker at level 18, I mean level 16, Jaho is going to look for his level 16 as well. Galio is taking a lot of farm on the side lane. He's been clearing those the entire game. I think the main thing is that when SKT actually rotate into mid lane, they take CS away from Bang. While when RNG rotate into mid lane, they still let Uzi take the entire wave and then they siege. Well, it's only fair, right? Because they are rotating into mid after pushing out a side wave, and then they go into mid lane to get the same wave in theory, like the same number. Like let's say it was wave number 46 in the game, right? Say it was wave number 46. And they killed the wave number 46 bottom, and they also go into mid lane to kill it, so they get like double the CS. So when Galio has been rotating into mid lane, he's just been clearing the waves, and Bang is slightly behind. Not slightly, it's 52 CS. Like it's a big chunk here. And I think we spotted Uzi plenty of times, like killing Raptors. I would love to just see the Express and see what the goal differential really is. I know if RNG wait out now until they reach last whisper now on Tristana, I feel like this game is going to be in their favor. As of right now, it's still pretty hard to kill the Jarvan and the Galio. Luckily, it's just an Ocean Drake, and you know, it's not that easy for SKT to just force Nasher either. They don't have like the best. Like sure, they have some Nash damage. Like Caitlyn doesn't do bad Nash damage, but RNG can still stand from a distance and poke and poke and poke, and SKT is gonna have a hard time engaging. So right now, as it stands, you know, if I would put money on this game right now, you know, I would bet RNG. I would bet RNG. You know, SKT have a history of pulling off crazy shit in games that matter the most, and RNG quite the opposite. But right now they are heading towards victory. You know. Tristana, the moment she reaches last whisper, I think this game is just gonna shift. We got Gargoyle Stoneplate coming up on Shen. I like the fact that he buys a little bit of MR. It makes the world of difference against Gnar and also Galio. And I think Gargoyle Stoneplate, like, is such a fantastic item because the active is so OP. And there we go, last whisper now on Tristana. I don't know if we will see a voice type of Corki, but I don't think it needs it. There's not enough MR on the enemy team. Maybe later, like in deep late game, you know, maybe like 5th item, 6th item, Void Staff. I think it could be legit to get Void Staff. I love Void Staff on Corki. I think it's absurdly broken number-wise. And just imagine you're an AD carry and you get your old last whisper back, you know, the one with the flat penetration, and then you just do a little dance, you know. Of course it's different because magic penetration as a stat doesn't scale as hard as armor for a lot of people. Okay, Jaho doing crazy stuff. Huni. Whoa. Okay. Let's go back. We have the Shen ultimate combo with Jahu with the package. Wing in, bang, out of position, flashes out. Galio has to ult defensively. And then RNG off of that flash from Caitlyn is back off. Huni has TP back, so it's not like prime time, force Nasher time, just because someone's low. Alright, RNG did use Shen ultimate during that time and TP of Corki, so Corki can't really match Corki during, Nara during this time. So Shen has to go bottom to match with his TP. And RNG now, with Nar being bottom, they're just trying to forcing the TP of Huni. That is the goal right now. I don't think they necessarily want to just straight up force Nasher and force a 50-50. Fake is walking in. He's very tanky. Last Whisper is ready on Tristana though, and SKT just walk in here and boldly claim the presence at Baron once again. And Faker maintaining the aggro here on Baron forces RNG to stay. And right now with the pressure now from bottom side, okay, now it resets, I thought the plan here for SKT was to just keep hitting Nasher, and then when the Nar wave is hitting bottom tower, they just force onto Baron. But Faker is also, stacking up, this debuff that he loses MR and armor and takes more damage from Nasher. So of course he can't tank it forever. You might think that Galio can tank it forever, and this patch, next patch he can one-shot Baron probably. A fucking stupid AP Galio. But interesting play from SKT. Like it's very bold that they don't just drop the TP from Nar right away, and they're willing to just cancel it as 4. I think that's very, very good. Whoever forces Nasher is going to be in such a weak position, because I think if RNG is actually stuck in the pit, all of a sudden that engage from SKT is still gonna land, and it's still gonna matter. As it stands right now, if SKT are the ones forcing Nasher, then RNG will have an easy time of rapid fire canning key targets and slowly poking in. And Jahu with his level 16 now, his rockets do a lot of damage. MR starting to show up. Looks like Static Ship is the item choice for Jahu. 4 items ready on Caitlyn. We got the HP Last Whisper on Uzi as well. Just gonna start melting those tanks. Not melting, but at least doing damage to them. Alright, let's take a step back. They're just forcing Nasher off of this item cycle of Tristana. Galio, Huni is still bottom, and I think this is a similar situation as before. They're just trying to force Huni's TP in the taunt lands. Galio comes in and RNG are just disengaging. I think it's very good that they're playing the fights very slow, and Bang walking up, trying to get some autos off. The rapid fire cannon hit did in fact crit onto Uzi, so he lost a fair chunk of HP, and he needs to use his Warlord's Bloodlust to get HP back up. And SKT now, reverse position. RNG tried to force Huni's TP, but it didn't work out. They managed to stop it 4v5. And RNG needed to back off after the Galio ult came down. And after that, the fight was reset. Baron's gonna go down quite fast. And Shen is not in position. Corki is bottom. Corki has TP. And SKT just interrupt the Baron here. Let's see if it was necessary. Like Tristana and Tarek are walking in. And Corki is bottom together with Nar. And they just walk away. Alright. Did they have to walk away? I guess like if Tristana and Tarek find an angle, like when Lee Sin spots them, Tristana and Tarek can easily face check, and together with Lee Sin, Shen ult, they can actually go, and they would be 4v4. Nara would TP, where he would get chunked by Corki, and then Corki would TP in, and it would be so optimal. So let's take a look at MXG. He was chilling in this bush, waiting around Nash to put any vision in a case where the enemy team starts it. And then he gets sandwiched here. It looks like... let's take a look if SKT actually see him going here. Oh yeah, he's standing on a ward. He's just standing on a ward right now. Standing on a ward, and SKT are just trying to sandwich him here. There we go. MLXG. Getting caught. Shen ultimate. Oh, can he jump? Oh, God. Holy moly. MLXG standing on the ward. Might lose him the game. Because SK Telecom are going to turn their attention towards Nasher and RNG. Trying to kill the crab, but the crab escapes in the wrong direction. Could have maybe pushed it earlier, but I didn't see the position of the crab. Top side, you can see the big wave up top, stacking towards SK Telecom. I don't know, man. This is going to be dangerously close. I don't know if Corki had package. Corki can rocket this, and TP is coming in now from Huni. Uziai, they get trapped, and that's a big deal because he loses a lot of HP. And holy, MLXG sitting in a bush is going to be a problem. Slow down on Jahu. Jahu doesn't have W, and SK Telecom, what can they create more? TP comes in to mid lane from Galio. He's trying to just push the wave and make sure that they secure an inhib before Corki spawns. That is a goal right now, you know. Galio is just giving Baron to mid wave, and all of a sudden SKT, MLXG, Enting, MLXG, man, what are we doing? You know, he was standing there, and he just wanted to be like this ward bot in case the enemy team just tried to force Nash. He's in position, and he was standing on a fucking ward. It's so stupidly risky. And SKT are just gonna go for the finish? Nah, they can't. They can't. Okay. Alright. RNG is still in it. They're still in it. Next dragon is Elder. Baron buff is up for 3 minutes. SKT don't have any TPs. RNG do, so it might be easier for them to deal with the side waves coming in, and maybe they can clear the creeps. Corki has an easy time killing those creeps because they have, like, super creeps have, of course, less HP. I mean, less MR than armor. They have negative MR, and Corki does a lot of damage to them. You know, so as long as that stands, it's crazy. You know, Haunting guy's coming in from Faker now. He's gonna do some magic damage. You know, and to be fair, you know, it's a big DPS boost. But I was kind of hoping that he could maybe buy it earlier. You know, because right now his last item is not that fancy, but he does do some decent damage to the tanks when he gets the Andres. So it's not too shabby, not too shabby. I think it's probably the best item choice he could have went for here. No MR at all on the enemy team except the Solari on Taric. And that is not a big deal. But SKT now are going to stop beginning their siege, and Jahu is going to try to match it by using his TP and clearing the side waves. The mid wave is going to be super creeped up, and RNG do have Uziai with his long range, maybe being able to wave clear. But I think Corki is the most important wave clear. He's going to try to kill the creeps from far, and boom, Bang doing a lot of damage as well. And those rapid fire hits matter so much. Uziai was level 16, he's kind of level 18. I think the extra differential in that, of course, range is going to matter. Uziai is killing the cannon creep eventually. Baron buff is up for 1 minute left, and if SKT can crack this base and they all of a sudden have a 2 inhibitor situation for the next Elder Dragon, that's going to be a massive, it's going to be freaking huge. And it looks like SKT are going to be able to crack the base. It's not like the team of RNG have like the best engage ever. They need to just play their game slow and play the poke game, and that's very difficult right now against the Baron. They need to play the poke game, they need to play the rapid fire game, and they need to play like the objective game. And sure, they can wave clear, but against Baron it's very difficult. You need to engage against Baron. And right now, you know, with the Caitlyn, you know, she has a lot of range too, and she can hit the turrets, she can siege the turrets. That's what she's known for, you know, sieging towers. And you know, Bang is delivering the late game portion of Caitlyn to the table here. And you gotta think about MLXG, you know, MLXG. You know, I just pray for you, man. I just pray for you that you win this game, because otherwise, the Chinese fans are gonna massacre you, man. They're gonna massacre you. And that's not gonna be a good time, you know. You've had a wonderful tournament. It would be so sad to spoil it with what happened to you. QSS now ready on Coco. I don't know if Void Staff is just better. Void Staff to just slay them tanks. Uziai is gonna go for Mercurial. Not sure. 2 inhibitors down now. Like, RNG do have double TP, so they could deal with that. And the Baron is off, so it's not too terrible. But Bang is creating a line of defense for himself to hit the turret from a specific angle. And I like what I'm seeing here. Bang is just chipping away at the turret while Faker is tanking it up. And 5 games of Galio, guys. Can we get an applaud? like some applause for our boy Faker here. Absolutely phenomenal and confident. Well, that's a good knock away because, you know, look at this frame right here. Look how dangerous this could have been. You know, if he just flashes here, you would have like you would have skrrra, pa 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 pa, right there, man, right there. Could have been dangerous. Could have been very dangerous. So a good knock away, and SKT siege away on this tower. You know, big difficulty for RNG. They can't engage. They need to just be willing to trade autos with Kate, and that's the way to go for it. And it seems like Lulu's too OP. Lulu's just too powerful. I feel like they need to just make use of the Taric ultimate, commit somehow, and try to just out-crit the enemy AD, because they have two ADs and you need to just aim for that by like rapid fire cannon, hit the Kate, and then just try to get past us, because that's the only way. You know, Uziai and Corki, they need to commit, they need to rapid fire cannon, and they need to get Taric ulted, and they need to just fucking hit the fucking Kate. That is what they need to pray for. Blade Rune King by for Tristana, which signals that they just want to play the game where they try to kill the front line first. But as it stands right now, you know, it's very hard for RNG to get in there, and I don't know, man. Kind of iffy. Everything's kind of iffy here. I like the Sejuani ban. Put RNG on that first pick Tristana, and I don't know about that, you know. Galio and Jarvan on the same team has been working out. Hooney! It's over, right? It's over. Unless Uziai is gonna just fucking do crazy stuff. Nah, it's over. It is over. Has to be over, right? I'm not saying it's over, but SK Telecom. They're gonna win Worlds again. SKT. They're gonna win Worlds again. Holy moly. Peanut comes in, wins 2 games, regains his confidence, and absolutely demolishes Samsung. Absolutely demolishes Samsung, and RNG now with a game 5. Rough series, man. Rough series. And what it comes down to in this game, plain and simple, I feel, you know, if you lose that initial Baron, you know, MLXG got caught and they lost that Baron when they were approaching this point in the game where they are very strong. You know, still, the enemy team is filled with fucking tanks. You know, even if you get last whispers and shit, it doesn't necessarily mean they're gonna kill all of them in any fashion fast. With that standing, I'm trying to remember what happened in this game. Caitlyn Lulu didn't have a lot of impact. They lost their tower first. SKT got a level 1 gank onto Ming. He got killed. Peanut was level 2, of course. And then top side, Huni was doing a lot of good shit against Shen. Shen got Doven and pressured on the turret. Mentioned they got top tower, right? And I feel like RNG drafted a very, very weak early game all across the board. Like the Lee Sin pick was pretty useless, let's be honest. The Lee Sin didn't do anything except throw the game. MLXG was really useless on Lee Sin, and I think that was a big issue. I liked SKT's approach to draft. You know, sure, in that position, what do you do as RNG? And you have to kind of put into perspective if their bans were good at all. Were they good at all? I'm not too sure. You know, like if Gragas was the ban they go for, and then first pick jungle, and then Sejuani ban comes in, and you know, with the bans and how they were laid out, then you have to pick Tristana, right? Because if you pick Jarvan, the enemy team goes Galio and Tristana, and it's also bad. And Tristana is just the best AD against the Jarvan Galio combo anyway. And after all, whew, you have to just think about their bans, right? The Gragas ban, If that is a Tristana ban, then this draft becomes so much easier. Like, they know they're gonna get a premium jungler no matter what, right? They're gonna get a premium jungler. They're gonna get the first choice of jungler no matter what. If they just ban Tristana, if they ban Tristana and let go of the Galio like they've done the entire series, then they get to pick Sejuani first if they prefer that over Jarvan. But in a case where, you know, you still kind of fuck yourself, because if you first pick Sejuani and the enemy team gets Jarvan Galio and there's no Tristana in the picture, it's still pretty fucking rough. So I don't know, are they just disrespecting the Galio pick after they had success against it? Or maybe they should have just banned... No, if they ban Jarvan and the enemy team gets Galio and Tristana, then you don't really care either. Because that was a situation that RNG won in. And crazy stuff, like thinking about the draft. I just feel like they put themselves in a hard position when the enemy team gets Galio Jarvan. You know, sure, you have the AD to get out of it, but they are still tanky mofos. You know, they're tanky mofos with very strong early games, and they scale into the game very, very well. They are 100% S tier champions, regardless of how you look at it. And, you know, to be fair, you know, RNG got through the early game. They were soaring towards the late game that we've been talking about, but maybe it's just not enough. Like, maybe these champions are just not enough to deal with the fact that like SKT are very hard to engage on, and then Caitlyn can just siege away at the towers. The game 100% would have looked so much different if it wasn't for this Nasher that MLSG just threw away. It would have looked so much more different, and I think that's what it comes down to in my eyes. You know, I think RNG, you know, if Zhao here gets a voice staff last item, I think they can actually get through this front line. But in the end, you know, the play that they need to go for, I feel, is that they need to just pray for the rapid fire cannon crit on Kate and just go for it and hope for the best. Because if you're in a position when the enemy team is sieging you and you don't have engage, and the only way for you to win is to just kill Kate, then you just have to fucking try. You just have to fucking try. And most likely you'll fucking die and look really bad. But I think this is the only thing you can go for. And then, you know, the Lee Sin pick. The Lee Sin pick was fucking garbage. Let's be honest. It was useless. It was completely useless. Didn't do anything this entire game except gank Huni once. And the rest of the picks actually had a lot of impact. The Corki did fantastic. And the Corki did very well against the Gnar. And did fine against Galio. Galio had priority, and I think Jahu repaired that situation quite fine. And what it came down to was MLXG inching it, I feel. Fantastic series, SKT. You know, they've managed to find some comfort for SKT's bot lane, you know, and to be honest, if they're not going to get punished by Uzi, and Uzi is not going to be in a position to 1v9, then I feel like SKT are going to soar through this tournament, because I think they have the best performing mid laner. I think Huni has been performing fine, and I think the matchup against Samsung will be very interesting. I think Samsung is going to deal with World Elite. I think World Elite are have a very specific niche in what they excel in, is the Galio Janna thing, and I don't think any team is going to let them play that. And Samsung have Kuve. I think Kuve can deal with Huni at a better pace than Let Me, but I feel like Faker is going to be like the deciding factor in the final, and with the performance of SKT in the later parts of the game, I think it's been impressive. And if they match up against Samsung, I think Samsung have a fantastic late game too, and that's not something that I'm going to take away from them. And the early game has been stale for both teams, even though that in this series Peanut did make some advancements, and Sejuani, you know, I was calling him Sejuani, but I meant Ambition, also made some adjustments in this series against Longzhu. So it's all about Samsung's form. Like last time we saw them perform, they really performed. They performed really well. Like Crown was still weak in the early lane phases, and I think that could be something that could be exposed by SK Telecom. But across the board, they played fantastically as a team, and Longzhu looked very shaken and lost in those series. But I think that's the final we're looking at, and to be honest. Voting against SKT just feels stupid every time you do it. And that settles it. I just want to see some celebrations here. And holy shit. Where is Blank? Is Blank gonna walk on stage? Or is he too embarrassed? Holy shit, the jackets of SK Telecom look so freaking badass, man. 3 stars for the fucking world champions, man. Bang, you're tying your shoe right now, man. You're supposed to... Alright. I thought he was proposing, you know, to Wolf or something. Alright. Good shit, good shit. Blank is relieved, man. He's relieved. After that Zack performance. Nah, but to be honest, Zack sucks. Zack fucking sucks, man. Zack, I hate Zack. Holy moly. Alright, fantastic. Let's go. I'm gonna do the second game with Mickey X now. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys in the next review. Peace.